Hello, I'm Sarah Muirhead, editor at Feedstuffs. Welcome to this Feedstuffs Fast Chat. Today we're talking with Ben Allen, CEO of Bin Century. Welcome, Ben. Thank you for being here with us today.
I appreciate it, Sarah. It's good to see you.
Well, let's jump right into what we're here to talk about, and that is why are we managing feed like it's in the 1950s? So with that, talk to us about why all the other feed advancements out there, we've made all these advancements, but yet still we seem like we're stuck in the last century. Why is that?
Well, the feed logistics system is huge. 90% of the planet eats meat, so it is a big supply chain and it is running 24/7 all around the world. And the technical challenges being able to measure feed inside of dark bins were uniquely difficult for people to solve. My grandfather ran a hatchery in Winterset, Iowa, in central Iowa in the 50s. And when they consolidated, he moved over to being in a feed mill and he would schedule trucks and deliveries. And he would recognize most of the feed business today, not everything. We've made great advancements in nutrition and formulations. The machinery is more accurate and bigger than ever before. But the way that we exchange data, the phone calls and the emails and people guessing what's out there in the field, that's still like it was 75 years ago. And that's because feed inside of these big containers doesn't have a clean angle of repose like a pile of sand would. A pile of sand is almost always the same shape, so you can cheat when you measure it. It's easier. But feed rat holes and it slants to one side and it hangs up. And so we've had to develop really high-end optical sensors that can take a beating, that can be inside of the rough environment that ag lives in, hot and cold and dirty, all of those things, and still be extremely accurate. Solving that challenge is something that took us up until about 5 years ago.
So then what makes this data, the AI, and this automation really the future of feed management?
Well, if you think about what the animal feed supply chain is, it's a high volume, basically commodity supply chain. So it's generally low margin. Now, the strategy we've had to use, because we can't see out into the field, is we've had to build a reactionary supply chain. And that means when somebody calls, we got to go. Those animals are hungry, whether it's a mistake or we just got caught off guard or it was a breakdown, it really doesn't matter. Calls come in from the field, the feed mills are set up to roll trucks and go take care of those requests. The problem with that is it a reactionary supply chain model? While it works and we're extremely good at it, is the most expensive setup possible for any supply chain. And it's a bad marriage between a reactionary supply chain and a low margin, high volume business. And so if we can see out into the field and get ahead of it, then we can have fewer trucks, fewer schedule changes, less emergencies, less formulation changes back at the mill. And that really is important when we're running high volume and trying to keep every penny back.
What's the potential upside then for companies that are willing to adopt AI and digital feed management?
Well, if you think about the data and how we move it today, there's a lot of spreadsheets still involved. There's a lot of manual input. There's a lot of trading phone calls or texts or emails, whatever that may be. All of those are opportunities for mistakes, and all of them require a lot of man hours. And ag has a labor challenge. It's really hard to find great people. It always has been, but it keeps getting more difficult for us. And so we really want those great people not doing data entry or transcribing phone calls, and putting things into their spreadsheets. We want those people solving hard problems. So we want to clean up the easy work. And when we do that, we can focus that talent on important problems and customer issues, whatever may be pressing for the day. So we're going to save manpower. We're going to increase safety because we're going to keep people off of those ladders, especially at the mills. Like those 100-foot ladders are no good for anybody, quite frankly, especially when we're guessing what we see at the top of that bin. And we're going to increase profitability. You can see EBITDA margins increase by almost double if you can squeeze that supply chain. Less trucks, less man hours, less mistakes, less changeovers. All of that is about smoothing out the supply chain and being more efficient with our time and our dollars.
Do you have any real world examples of feed management improvements that you've seen with any of your customers? Anything you can share with us?
I think a lot of times it comes It becomes the light bulb goes off for people when they go through a weather problem and they've been using our technology. If you think about in the South, it's floods or hurricanes generally. We had a hard freeze not too long ago. That was weird. We got 10 inches of snow in Florida. In the North, it's ice and snow, whatever the winter may bring is the most common problem. But when a weather challenge is coming for a feed mill and they're going to have to get off the roads for whatever reason, every single customer calls the feed mill all at once and says, I need topped off. And they're just trying to take care of their animals. It's a fair request, but it's like a run on a bank. A feed mill can't hit every customer while there's a problem coming. They just don't have the capacity to do it. So they do what they can, but the feed mill's blind to how to prioritize people because everybody's jumping up and down and saying, I need feed today. And then when the roads reopen after the problem is passed, the same thing happens all over again. The farmers and the techs get back on the phone and say, top me off, I'm out. Well, with our software, it literally takes less than 60 seconds to run a report that says who's out now and who's going to be out next, all the way through up to thousands of barns. And that report of who's out today and who's going to be out next is your trucking schedule. That's who you want to go hit. You want to make sure that when the roads open up and you've got to roll trucks, that the guys that are going out at 5 a.m. are going to the people that are for sure empty already so that you can take the best care of the animals. And if somebody can wait 8 hours, that's worth knowing. And our software and our sensors and our technology can tell you that nearly instantly. And when you think about that on a crisis basis, what happens in a bad weather event, and then you translate that in what just happens daily and how you can be more accurate and take care of people better and take care of the feed customers and the barns better. Well, that's where the savings roll up. That's how you run a better supply chain.
Yeah, a lot of increases there in accuracy and just efficiency and making better decisions, it sounds like.
That's right.
Well,
There's a lot of room to improve. There always is. People are really good at running feed, extremely good at it. We've been doing it a long time. But being able to see out into those bins and know exactly what's going on with clarity, that's a meaningful improvement today.
not the little hammer on the bin wall. See what the level is.
Might not be the best way to run a multi-billion-dollar supply chain.
Exactly. Well, that's all we have time for here today. I want to thank you, Ben, for joining us, and thank you all for tuning in to this Feedstuffs Fast Chat.
Thank you, Sarah.